Leadership Talks with me, Billy Island. One of the things I felt like I wanted to do coming into the year of 2023 was deposit some type of intel or content that would help people add value to their leadership. There's all types of leaders all over the world. Leadership is very well known now. People understand that leadership or being a leader is simply having influence over someone else, having influence and leading them to a desired destination. Me, myself, I have a background of being involved in leadership going on 2 decades now of leading people in organizations and helping people discover their God-given purpose. And so I just felt like I wanted to add value to people that may not be in my immediate sphere, or my ability wasn't there to touch them. I couldn't touch them. I'm not able to touch them. I'm not able to actually grasp them. They're not in my arm's reach. And so what I wanted to start out with this year is finding a place in our mind and in our hearts to discover our values. Discovering your values is so important. And that's what I want to talk about today. Discovering your values. Often we don't know or even acknowledge our values. And so I want to give you a clear definition of values, or how you can actually identify what your values are. So what are values? Values are defined by what drives you within. Values are a moral compass that is precious to you. So what are values? Values are defined by what drives you within. What drives you? What makes you get up in the morning? What passion is deeply inside of your heart? What's pushing you and motivating you to be a better person, to be a better father, be a better entrepreneur, to be a better wife? Values are moral compasses that's precious to you. It means a lot, because I want you to get this. What you value has the potential of creating your culture. Because the things that you value are the things that drive you. These are the things that push you. These are the things that guide you. It's your moral compass. If you don't like your current surroundings, evaluate your values within. Because if you're around certain things that really conflict with you, you don't like it, you don't really appreciate what results you're getting, the crowd you're around, the business movement you're a part of, you have to evaluate your values, because your values define what drives you. And if others around you are a part of something that you don't agree with, well, you want to begin to ask yourself, why am I in this setting? Are my values a little off? Do I value my peace? What if you're not sure about your values? What if you don't know what your values are? Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's a great man, one of our founding fathers in the United States. He actually got his reputation in the Revolutionary War. His name is Alexander Hamilton, and he coins a quote that says, "Those who stand for nothing fall for anything." So if you don't stand for something, if you don't have a principle or something that you put your flag in the ground, that you put your stake in the ground, and this is my stance, this is what I believe in, this is what I value. If you don't have that, you'll actually find yourself falling for anything. You'll fall into, bad business deals. You'll find yourself falling into the wrong movement, the wrong crowd of people. And so those who stand for nothing, if you stand for nothing, you don't have any values, you don't have any principles, any core beliefs, you don't have anything that anchors you, things that you say, nope, I don't do that. Well, you'll fall for anything if you don't have those things. And so how do you discover your values? Well, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to give you a little pushback on this one. Ask yourself, what do I stand for automatically without effort? There's certain things I just stand for automatically. I stand for integrity. I stand for taking the initiative. I stand for being innovative. I stand for these things. If you have things that you stand for automatically, you don't even try, it's just something that you stand for. Well, that's you kind of like pinpointing what you value. These are the things that you value. You stand for it and you don't even try. It's just something that rises up inside of you. Maybe you stand for, fairness, or you stand for, things that are fair, things you don't like when people are being treated wrong. Well, that's something you value. You value people's lives. You value these things. And so how do you discover your values? Well, ask yourself, what do I stand for automatically without effort? What matters most to me? That's another question you can ask. What matters most to me? For me, loving God, loving my wife, loving others, this is very important to me. These are things I value. I value a relationship with God passionately. So that means I'm going to take out a portion of time to meditate, to reflect, to read God's word, which is the Bible. For me, I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor. But one of the things we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, what matters the most to me? What matters the most? Let me give you a little recap here. Normally, people just don't know, or they often don't acknowledge what they value. They don't even know what they value. They don't know what their values are. I want you to remember, values are things that drive within you. These are values. This is how you know this is what my values are. It drives me. When I wake up, I see someone. I stand for equality. I don't like when someone's not being treated properly. I don't like when one race is being treated wrong or one community being treated wrong. I want to stand up. So I stand for equality. I don't like when women are being treated unfair. I want them to have fair pay. I want them to have the rights to stand up and voice their thoughts, their perspectives. Maybe that's what drives you. Well, that's something that you value. Another thing about values, they're your moral compass that's precious to you. It's something morally that you stand on. It's something morally that you stand for. Remember, Alexander Hamilton, one of our founding fathers of the United States, that got his great debut and his reputation from the Revolutionary War, and actually he was the first United States Secretary of Treasury. You know what he said? He says, those who stand for nothing fall for anything. And let me remind you also, if you don't like your current surroundings, evaluate your values within. Evaluate, what do I value? Because if I value being in healthy environments, that means that I'll remove myself from my current surroundings. So let me give you this response. What do I want you to do? After listening to this leadership talk, what do I want you to do? Well, one of the things that we're talking about is discovering your values. So I'm asking you to begin to evaluate what's important to you. Ask yourself what matters the most. Ask yourself, how do I discover my values? Well, what do I stand for automatically? And so this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to respond. Look back. In order to truly discover your values, I'm going to need you to look back. Evaluate where you've been. Because where you've been will tell a lot about what you value. The relationships you've been involved in, the business ventures that you've tried, the startup business that you actually launched, the things that you've done in the past for God, or the books that you wrote. I want you to look back. Evaluate where you've been. This is how you discover your values. If you want to discover your values, look back. Also, look around. Evaluate what you surround yourself with. This will tell you what you value, because when you look around, look at your surroundings, you'll understand these are the people, these are the type of environments. This is what I value. Look around. Not only do I want you to look back, I want you also to look around. Also, I would like you to look within. Evaluations often stirs something up. Evaluate what stirs you within, your passions, your gifts, your dreams. So look within. Evaluate what stirs you within your passions, within your gifts, what stirs you in your dreams. Ultimately, I want you to be prepared to look ahead. But it's very difficult to look ahead when we don't look back and evaluate where we've been, when we don't look around, evaluate who and what we surround ourselves with. And it's very difficult to look ahead when we haven't looked within and evaluated what stirs us within. Your passions, your gifts, your dreams. We have to remember, as a leader, leaders are not only going places, they're taking others with them. Their spouse, their kids, their family, their business, their church, their nonprofit. In order to take others to a preferred location with integrity and authenticity, we need to discover our values. In order to take others to a preferred location with integrity and authenticity, we need to discover our values. Values matter in leadership. When we don't know what we value, if we don't know what we stand for, Alexander Hamilton says that we'll fall for anything. And in life, we don't have the time to fall for anything as a leader. Remember, people are following you. You have influence. You are a thought leader. You lead that business. You lead your marriage. You lead your family. You lead your company. People are trusting their lives in your leadership. So we have to have values. Values matter in leadership. And I'm here to tell you, being a leader is part of keeping it real. Being a leader is in part keeping it real. Just being real, being a learner, being a listener, being a real leader. So what do we know? We know that values are defined by what drives within us. That's what we know. We know that values are defined by what drives us, what we're passionate about. We know also that values are a moral compass that is precious to you. It's something that guides you, it leads you, it directs you. It's things that you love. And we also realize that what you value has the potential of creating your culture. It's the things that's around you, your culture, the things that is moving around you. Well, our values has the potential of actually creating that culture. You want a healthy culture? Evaluate your values. If you don't like your current surroundings, evaluate your values within. What do I value? Well, if you're not sure about your values, always remember, we want to be sure about our values, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Those who stand for nothing, according to Alexander Hamilton, fall for anything. And we want to identify that. If you're not sure about them, this is what I would like you to do. I want you to ask yourself, what do I stand for automatically? Without effort, what do I actually stand for? What are the things that I just stand up and it rises up inside of me and I'll speak up on it, I'll voice my opinion? What do I stand for automatically, without effort? What matters the most to me? Discovering your values. For me, I've told you, I love God. I love my wife. That values, those are valuable things to me. I value God, I value my wife, and I value others. This is very important to me. So if you don't know, or if you haven't even acknowledged your values, I want you to understand that's that thing that drives you within, moral compass, that precious thing that guides you. If you don't like your current surroundings, evaluate your values within. And what did I tell you? This is what I want you to do. If nothing else, I want you to get this. This is what I want you to do. Look back. Evaluate where you've been, where God has taken you, where you've journeyed, what business you started, what mistakes you've made, what failures you've had, what things that you've done that cause you to be a conqueror or passionate. What have you done in the past? Often we have people that don't want to look in the future too far. And then often we have other people that don't want to look in the back and behind us, what we've been through. But I'm here to tell you that it's so liberating to look in your past and not get ashamed or discouraged or condemned, to be able to look in your past and let that motivate you in driving forward and be passionate. So look back. That's what I want you to do. Also, I want you to look around. This is how you discover your values. You look around, you begin to start seeing who's around me, who's with me, what team do I have, who really are the people that I honor, where's my inner circle. When you begin to start looking around you, you will begin to discover your values. Like, oh my God, I value the right thing. I value the wrong thing. My values are right in front of me. If you begin to start looking around, you look around and you will be able to identify your values. Not only do I want you to look back or look around, I want you to look within. Sometimes it's scary to look within. Sometimes it's difficult to look within, to look at your deficiencies. Sometimes it's scary to look at, how you may be, bullheaded. Or you may look within and discover some things that you've never known, because there's gifts that are inside you, and those values are inside of you. When you look within, you evaluate what stirs within you, your passion. What are you passionate about? You may be passionate about music, movies. You may be passionate about modeling. You may be passionate about leading others to a preferred destiny. Find out by looking within what you're passionate about, what your gifts are, and what your dreams are. And ultimately, obviously, I want you to be prepared to look ahead. Look ahead to all the things that are ahead of you, the life that is ahead of you that is preferred by God, that you have something that no one can offer the world. Always remember, while being a leader, truth, transparency, and trust can make or break your transition. As a leader, I encourage young leaders to keep it real, because often that seals the deal. So important for you to get this. Be a learner, be a listener, and become a real leader. Because while becoming a real leader, truth, transparency, and trust can make or break your transition through leadership. I encourage young leaders all the time to keep it real, because often that seals the deal. I want you to continue to join us in Leadership Talks with Billy Island. I'll have some friends that come by and we'll have some interviews, but this is our beginning start. This is our start to begin adding value to your leadership. Today, we want you to discover your values, because I think it begins with knowing what you value. Remember, you can always be a leader as long as you can keep it real.